Hey, YouTubers, Tazman here, bringing you another episode of Taz Teaches Java. And in our last episode, we're finally getting into classes and stuff. And after we get through this, we're going to actually start having assignments and stuff on things to build, just to kind of drill this stuff in. To make it make sense forever, I guess. So in the last episode, we were talking about classes. We were talking about how to generate a class, and we created our class for vehicle with we set up our variables here, or our instance variables, and then we also had our instant methods that we could access. Now we've talked about previously about private, public, and protected, and the default as far as access modifiers. So what I kind of want to explain now, and we kind of went into it just a little bit before, is when we're doing this, when you're creating a variable, so when we actually create our object here, if I were to do something like try and copy sports car into sports car 2, and so we'd have something that says, like vehicle sports car 2 equals sports car. What this is actually doing is copying the reference to that variable. And we're going to kind of go into that. That's kind of what our focus is. Let me just check where my notes were on this. Right here. So we're going to create, I think we're still going to use, trying to just think, should I just use our car still? No, I think we'll create a new one. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to create a new package, and we're going to call this REFERENCE reference variable. No, we'll just call it reference. That works. So here inside a reference, oops, I didn't put it inside of classes. I want to keep it inside of classes because this definitely is referring to classes. So let's, and we might grab parts, I'm not sure. Should we keep our, let's go ahead. We're going to copy our vehicle because we don't want to go through all that. We're going to copy that, and we're going to go ahead and paste it into reference. So basically we would want to create another one of these guys. We're going to have to change this vehicle here into reference, REFERENCE, because that's the package that it's within. And that should fix, we shouldn't have any errors after that. Yep, it went away. Okay, so this is going to be our vehicle class, and as we see here, I'm just double checking, making sure I have everything I need. So we have the passengers and the MPG. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll create our vehicle demo again. I guess it'll be the same, but we're going to make it a little different this time. So we're going to say class, we're going to say VEHICLE demo. Demo. Okay, so here is our vehicle demo class, or our start, and we're going to have main in here because this is the starting point. And go ahead and just hit enter a couple times. Okay, so let's say, for example, we create a vehicle, and we're just going to call it car 1. So we're going to say VEH, and we can hit that. Nope, VEH, and then we can hit that. Oops, it was already doing it for us. So we're going to say vehicle car 1, and it equals a new vehicle. And that's good. And we're, then we're going to create a second vehicle, but we're not going to create a new instance. We're going to try and copy this guy. And we're going to see if you can guess what is going to happen. So we're going to say VEHICL vehicle, and then do car 2, and we're going to make it equal to car 1. And this is completely legit. You can actually do this. You can see we're not using car 2 yet. So now if we set, because when we first set it up, when we do our car, it's not actually initializing anything in it. So we're going to have to say car 1 And let's just set, maybe it's miles per gallon. And let's set, or get, not get, set. So we're going to set miles per gallon. And this is going to want us to, if we mouse over it, you'll see that it says it expects an integer. So you can see set int. So let's go ahead and say maybe, I don't know, let's say 30 miles a gallon. Pretty good, right? So now you would think, because I've set car 1, and then I copied car 1 when it was blank, and now I'm creating car 2, what will happen if I now go look at, let's go S out, oops, S out, S out, there we go. Let's go ahead and say, quote, car 1, oh, maybe we'll say MPG, like that, and then we'll go ahead and say car1 dot MPG, right? And then we're going to do that exact same thing. We have an error in here. Oh, it's get MPG. We have to do it. Remember, we made it private. So we need to get, and I think it was like that. Was it MPG all uppercase? PG. Bing, like that maybe. Is undefined. All right, so it was, oh, it's just uppercase M and lowercase pg. There we go. So now we're just going to copy that and we're going to paste it. So, and we're going to change this to car 2. So now what someone might think would happen here is, and you can tell me if you got this right or wrong, but you would think that, okay, so I created a car 1, the default values are all blank because we haven't gone over constructors really, but we will later. We created our car 1, so all our values will be basically, because they're ints, will all be 0. So if I tried looking at car 1 MPG before I do that set, it should say 0 because that's the default value. And, well, why not? Let's do car 2 too. And then do C and V, like that. So if we run this, we should now see car 1, 0, car 2, whoop, car 2, car 1, car 1, and car 1, car 1, car 2. So if we do this, we should see car 1, 0, car 2, 0, right? And then we'll see, so car 1, MPG 0, car 2, MPG 0. Car 1, when we've only set car 1, MPG turns to 30, and car 2's MPG turns 30. So we kind of went over this, but I kind of want to re-go over this because it's kind of important to understand. So let me go ahead and just pick that color that I've been using. Might as well. Oops. Grab this real quick and set it in. All right. So what we're doing when we're creating car 1, when we say, well, let's just say V, oops, why do I always do that? Pencil, brush, oops, yeah, that's right, brush. All right, Control D. So when we create our vehicle and we say VEHICLE, vehicle, and then we say car 1, right, equals new vehicle. And parentheses and our semicolon. When we do this, what this is doing is it's creating a variable or a spot in memory. It's actually creating a spot in memory, and it's called car 1. So let's go ahead and just say, here's our little slot in memory, and this is called car 1, right? We'll make it look like a 1, I guess. So then in actual memory, because this is an object, it's more complex than just saying it's simply, oh, well, car 1 MPG equals this. You know, it's not like an integer or something like that where this is actually a value and that's the end of the story. What this is actually doing is coming over here in another chunk of memory where it has more space, and it says, okay, car 1 is going to take up this chunk of space. And just for sake of simpleness, we're going to say this is 0x000000. So that is this location right here in the memory. So we could imagine this is your little bits, each bit and stuff. And go boop, boop, boop. This isn't going to be very accurate, but I want to just quickly get it up. So now when we come in here and we say, so here we say this is a 0x000000. So that's telling us where the car1 object is in memory that we're creating. And until we actually create the new thing, it's not actually reserving all the space it needs for all those components. So now when we come in and we say VHICLE CAR2 equals CAR1 and a semicolon. So what this is going to do is now this is going to create another section in memory called car2. And what this is going to do is it's going to be basically a pointer pointing to this section of memory. So that means when I invoke car2, it's actually going here, which is actually going to point here. So this is why when we output the value of car2, it was the exact same as car1, even though here we clearly are only changing car1. It's because we basically have two things pointing to the same chunk of memory. They really don't care too much about each other. Now, if I went and let's see, what do I want to do next? Let's see, I'm just looking on my notes where I wanted to go from here. So now let's say, for example, we want to, let's add another car in here. And we'll actually add it the right way. We're going to say VHICL vehicle and say car 3 equals and new VH vehicle. And there we go. Now we have a car 3. So if we were to, for example, assign car 2 now to car 3, it would forget everything it set on car 2. So if we said here that, let's see, let's go ahead and say car 2 equals car 3. And this is going to now change the pointer that car 2 is pointing to the memory location that car 3 is pointing to. So if we do our out here, and we'll actually just add in a car 3 now, C, and we'll do V, and then we'll copy this guy, and we'll do a C and one more V, and we're going to go ahead and say car 3. So now what we're going to see is car 2 will be, for a second it'll be 30, and then it's going to jump back to a 0 value because we didn't actually set anything in car 3. So here we go. There we go. So we have car 1 and car 2 is set to 0. Car 1 is now set to 30. Car 2 is now set to 30. Then car 1 becomes 30 still because we didn't point it. However, now we're pointing car 2 to car 3. So let's just go look at that real quick. So now what we've done is we've created a vehicle car 3, and I'm not going to just pretend I wrote the thing up there, but now we have a vehicle car 3, and we'll just say its location is maybe 0x009542, and we'll just pretend that's this location right here. Right, so 0x 00952. So this is the new location that car number 3 is pointing to. And car 2 is now pointing at car 3. So no longer is it pointing up here. Car 2 is now pointing at car 3. So hopefully that makes sense. Now, one other thing is with memory, and we kind of talked about this just slightly. If, for example, we end up not ever using car 3, or it goes out of scope, the garbage collector will come and say, hey, this memory hasn't been used for a while, and it kind of checks the code and says it's not going to be used, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. So let's see, is there more that I want to do with this? So one other thing I wanted to do now is I wanted to set a value in car 2. And in theory, or the way we're looking at this, how it all works, if I set something, if I say, for example, car2.mpg, well, set mpg, parenthesis to maybe 20. What do you think that's going to do? Is it going to all of a sudden create a new car 2? Let's find out. So now here we have car 2, car 3. So let's go ahead and we're going to say car 2 dot set mpg right there, and let's set our mpg to say 25. And then we'll go ahead and output all our cars again. We should probably stick, like, just so we have spaces between things. I'm sticking in some escape characters. I think we went over those. I'm not 100% sure. If not, we will. Just let me know in the comments below. All right, so now if we set car 2, so we're forcing car 2 to 25. What is it going to do? Go ahead and run it. And you'll see, because we've set car 2 to 25, car 3 also is set to 25. So it's not necessarily one of these, oops, I didn't mean to do that. It's not necessarily that one of these is actually the master, one is the slave. They're both kind of pointing to the same thing. So when we invoke this, when we said car 2 equals 25, what it's doing is it's simply following the line, saying, okay, car 2 goes to car 3, which goes to here, and it sets MPG to 25. Therefore, when I invoke car 3 and say, what's MPG, it goes here and also sees 25. So it doesn't matter which of these two I actually set variables in, it's going to set it there. So one other way we can kind of see what we're talking about is if we actually just call up the object itself. So maybe let's just get rid of the get MPGs, and we should get rid of that. This should give you kind of the simulated, and we've talked about how it's not the actual memory location because Java doesn't have access to that. But if we get rid of this, this should just print the actual location that is being stored in that first box. So when we're looking here, it's actually going to be printing out this location here, this location here, and this location here. And we should be able to see it go where we're expecting it to, hopefully. So let's go and get rid of that and get rid of that. Okay, so now if we run this, we see, you can see here, so here's car 1 and car 2. They're both pointed to 70DEA4E, right? Then what are we doing? It's kind of hard to see. So then, of course, we change the miles per gallon right here. They're both pointing to the same place. Here, between these is where we say car 2 equals car 3. So now you can see car 2 is still equaling its memory location that it was before. But now car 2 is pointing to the same memory location as car 3. So when we output that information, we can see that they're pointing to each other. Hopefully that makes sense. It's kind of a complex topic and kind of a complex thing to understand. So I really am hoping you kind of understand what is going on here, and hopefully that makes some logical sense to you. So in order for us to access the components, or if we wanted to copy just a component, for example, let's just say for a minute that now we want to set car 3 to the same miles per gallon. Of course, this is also going to set car 2, but that's okay. So let's go ahead and set, let's say, car 3. Now we can't just do car 3 equals car 1, right? I mean, we can. However, that might not, if we want to keep car 3 as the same thing, and we only want to say modify the MPG, then we do have to specify it with our dot operator. Remember we talked about the dot operator, so we would say get MPG, or no, this would be set. Actually, I've got this way. We can't do that. Let's go ahead and get rid of the equals because we don't have a direct equals anymore. So we would say set MPG, right? And then for MPG, we're actually going to tell it to point to car 1. Whoops, what'd I do? Set MPG. So MPG is then going to go to get car 1's MPG. And put that. And now what we'll see is that we're properly setting car 3's MPG without copying the entire thing or changing its reference point. We're going to only get the MPG from car 1 and set it to car 3's MPG. So if we do this now, Control C, and do a V, we'll see that, well, actually we won't see it here because we still have it doing the car 1, car 2. In fact, let's do this just to make it a little cooler. We can do this and do C and V. We'll get rid of this first, and we'll do dot get MPG, and then we'll just copy it 3 times. So this will hopefully show you that 3 is not actually pointing to the, it's not doing it through reference. It's actually getting the value that car 1 is returning. So we just need to change this one to 2, and this one to 2, oops, 2, and this one to 3, and this one to 3. So what this is going to do is this is going to show you the memory location, then it's going to show you the value of the MPG in that memory location. So let's go and run it. So here you can see now, remember we set car, well, you can't see it anymore, but we set car 2 to 25 MPG, but because car 2 is a reference to car 3, then car 3 is also set to MPG of 25. But if we look here, we can see car 1, which is still that memory address, is all by itself, and this one did not change. So car 3 and car 2 is not actually changed. They're still pointed. Now, I don't think I've ever tried this before, but even though we've used car 2 as a reference, can we do car 2 equals new vehicle? I think we can. It makes sense that we could, as long as you spell everything right. So car 2 equals, nope, not car. Dang it. Car 2 equals new vehicle. So that should work. And let's just go ahead and put that right here just so we can actually see car 2 should be set to 0. So run it. And now you can see car2, even though we were using it as a reference, and to be completely honest, I don't know specifically when you'd really ever want to have an object point to another object as a reference. I can't think of any real situations where I'd want that. But as you can see now, even though we've used car2 up here, now we're actually creating a car2 object. And you'll see that it got its very own memory location. Technically, this is not a memory location. We just kind of pretend it is the hash map to kind of where in memory it's residing. But that's not really an actual memory location on your PC. It's kind of virtual memory or something. So hopefully this made sense to you. If you have any questions, as always, leave it down in the comment section below. I'm more than happy to, make another video to help clarify some of this stuff. In the next episode, I think we're going to be focusing a little bit more on constructors. I feel like we talked about constructors just a little bit, that there's a constructor, there's a finalize, which is like other programming languages, destructor. I might have to go back and look at some of the stuff, but I think that's good for this. So like I said, hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Aside from that, comment, like, and subscribe. Check out my channels, my other channels. Check out my Discord, if you want to chat and stuff. Also, if you are interested in getting notifications, aside from following me on Twitter, if you click the little notification bell by the sub button down below, you'll see the option to actually send you notifications when I do updates. So I think that's about it, and I've said everything. So until next time, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.